Hi everyone, this is Allie with Allie Border Photography, and today I'm going to be doing a video on batch editing with actions. I'm going to be using mine today, but you can use them for any. I get a lot of questions on how to batch process, and so I'm going to go over these 4 images, and let's get started. So I'm going to be using light airy color just because it's what I've been using lately. So you go to File, go to Automate, go to Batch, and then you can click like your whatever set you want to use. I have my Dare to Dream workflow set, and I'm going to click on light airy color, and your source is going to be your open files, and then you click OK, and it'll run that action on every image. Hopefully it doesn't take forever. That's for whatever reason this, I'm sure you've heard me say in my other videos, but the Screencast-O-Matic is just really slow on my desktop. On my laptop, they all would have been already finished, even while recording. Oh, there we go. Okay. So basically what I'll do now is I'll go through each one. I kind of mess with what I want to do, what I want to leave. So for instance, I'm going to go to the vignette with my brush at about 80%, and I'm going to brush it off of him. Just like that. I'm going to see where the center spot is at, double click, move it up towards his face more. I'm going to check out the yellow tone, and I'm going to bring that down to about, it's like 12%. So that's just before and after with light airy color. So I'm going to flatten, move on to the next one, do the same thing, make sure that the vignette isn't on anywhere on him, like his face and things like that. Leave it like on the background areas or chalkboard, things like that. But I like to do this to some of the objects in the image just to make them pop a little bit more. And I'll check out the center spot, which is fine, but I'm going to scoot it over. Check out my yellow tone, I'll probably leave it there, and then I'll flatten. Go to my next one. Now this one's a little bit different because it's not the same kind of settings, a little bit lighter and airier because of the blown out background. So what I will probably do is I'll go to my crop tool, bring it in, like that. Even though I really like the big giantness of the way it was before, I think I'm just going to leave it that way. Check the vignette. It's good, it's not on him. Check the yellow tone. I'll probably bring that down. Nice center spot. I like that. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to flatten. Go to my next image. The same kind of deal. So check the vignette. I'll lower that around him. So make a big wide brush at about 60%. Make sure it's on black. I want to kind of get some of those cows in the mix. just a little bit. I'm going to lower it still. And then a yellow spot, or your yellow tone, sorry. I'm going to lower that. And then my center spots, double click that and kind of move them around. And I'll probably lower that as well. Actions are just all about adjusting them to your liking. Sometimes I can move, or I can do an action and just leave it as is. This is kind of like dull. The brighten layer kind of brightens and makes it more rich. But I lose a lot of the detail on the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush some of that off with my black layer mask, or my black brush on my layer mask. Just like that. Check out my ColourPop, and I'm going to brush a little bit of that off of his face so he's not very like orangey toned. Alright. So before and after, just the one action by itself. Alright, so next what I would do is I would go to File, Automate again, go to Batch, and then you can pick whatever you decide to use next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run Blur Me Baby. Click OK. Of course, this is going to take a little bit just because it's a blur adjustment, so you just have to click continue and it'll go to the next one. And then once this finishes, we can go back. I just like to go through like the process from where I started so I don't backtrack. If that makes sense. Obviously you can do it whatever way you'd like. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to do, see if I did that correctly. I think I messed up my play. We're good. Okay. Go back to the first image. Whoa, I just did something. I want you over here. In front. I guess it's not going to happen now. So I guess we're just going to start this way is fine. So what I didn't do is remove the little areas from the back, but to my layer mask. I'm going to click on my brush and open it up some. And I'm going to put it on 20%. Make sure I have a white brush. And brush that on to my black layer mask. Like so. Just in the background. Like that. Around little objects and things. Make the brush smaller on the sides. Kind of leave this whole plane in focus. And kind of drop down, focus in the front right here if you want to. Shoes since they're already out of focus. Things like that. But this whole plane should be the same focus as he is. So now you can kind of see before and the after, just gives it kind of a glow. I'm probably gonna get that closer to the little cotton candy right there. You can zoom in and see it better if you'd like. Just like that. And then for the areas around his head, I didn't get close for those. So if you want, you can go back in 20% opacity, go around like his hat, things like this, things like that rather. Shoulders, ear, little mosquito. And come over here to the chalkboard. I don't want to see if there's any weird. Sometimes if you use like blurs in certain areas, you can get halos. But for the most part, this blur that I made is pretty good about not giving halos. For the most part. This is actually on his shirt, so it looks a little bit weird. It's how you can tell on your end, however. I can tell on mine. Okay. Oopsies. Zoom out. Before, after. Nice blurriness. Flatten that bad boy. Move on to the next. Obviously you don't need to take that long on it, but crank that up. 20%. Blur behind. Obviously this one doesn't really need much blurring because it's mostly just sky street. We got this whole section that's in focus. Slow laggy Photoshop. And everything there. So what I would do is I did 20 for the most of the area, and then I'll do 10 for down here. So, oops, before and after, just like subtle difference. But who doesn't love bokeh, or bokeh, however you want to say it, or faux bokeh, for that matter. Flatten that and move on to the next. The crop here isn't how I would like it. Seems like whenever I go to my home, like my Windows screen, or like if I hover over my Windows thing over here, it's not laggy, which is kind of weird. And now it's going to be laggy. Do not crop. So usually the rule is like ankles, knees, waist, something like that. And I chopped him off because it was like a real quick shot, but I still really liked it because you can see the cows in the background. Come on, Photoshop. See? Weirdness. Okay, I did crop. I kind of like that cow's face there. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it alone. And focus on the blur for now. So 20%, excuse my, I still have a cold, so I probably sound like terribleness. Just blur the, so all this kind of area is not blurry, doesn't have bokeh, any depth of field. It's pretty, there's some good focus over here. So I'm just going to do the areas that are kind of out of focus, or, you know, have depth of field rather, and that are not in our field of view. So that's the right word for it. Or not field of view, but, you know, plane of focus. Oh, and was I doing anything? No, I wasn't. So again, 20%. That's what happens when you're sick. I kind of made it turn color. It's odd. Huh. It's really weird. What is that? Okay. Huh. Let's see. I'm gonna put that on Blur Me Baby on soft light. See what happens. Okay, that's a little bit better. I think it's because it's so dark. And Blur Me Baby, I don't know, the dark and blacks and stuff like that just doesn't work with it. So I'm gonna put it on soft light. See if it'll work out that way. Sick brain going on. I'm gonna lower that. Lower my brush. Right there. Around his jaw, shoulders, cotton candy. Alright, now I'm going to flatten. Sorry if you can hear my microphone. I don't want to continuously cough into it. Okay, so once again, 20%, brush it onto your background. Brush it onto the bottom so that this area, I'm not brushing right now just in case you're wondering, but this area is, so that one's like kind of sharpened in focus, so you can tell. Oh my goodness, I did it again. Always make sure that your white brush, you know, black reveals, white reveals, black conceals. Yeah, something like that. I didn't have my white brush, or my white color on. Do that again. There, bottom here. I'll leave this kind of more in focus. Do like a 10%. Like before, after, I'm going to bring that down. After. And then I'm going to flatten. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is hit Control J. I go in here, hit S for my clone stamp, go to 30%. We're not going to do this very much, just a tiny little bit. Okay. So out there for after. Don't do it too drastic. Sometimes I do it drastic, but for the most part, it really depends on the mood of the picture. Okay, I'll put that on 20. Kind of darky circles under on the sides of his eyes. For that, you can take a brush, put it really low, put it on 10% like it is, kind of select an area of the skin that's nearby. Just kind of go over it really lightly. Same on the other side. Before and after. And again, flatten that. And that's just selective. You don't have to take out like all the under eye circles. That's just my style. That's how I roll. Okay. We should run our clone stamp. 30%. Side. Oops. There we go. Taking forever in this area. Okay. Okay. Back it up. I might just do one more pass. Flatten. Control J. Duplicate layer. Control J, sorry. But, yeah. As long as you don't mess up. But always make a duplicate layer.
Mama, you have to take my veil like this, please.
And same with the last. Make sure you Control J to duplicate your layer. Grab your clone stamp. Make it a little bit bigger. Whoa, I don't know where that's copying from, but not from where it's supposed to be. There you go. What is happening? Nothing's happening. Excuse me. Oh dear. Go to 20. Okay. Go to my brush. Sample piece right here. Brush it on lightly. Grab patch tool. Like that. Blemishes away. And flatten. So since this is all about automate or batching or whatever, we're gonna just batch the whole time. This is ordinarily how I get through sessions. Usually, like, I have a select few that I pay like close attention to, like images that I really love or that I know my clients really liked. But for the most part, I automate, and it still takes a while. You know, we're at 27 minutes and I'm not even done yet. But I mean, it's a lot faster than excuse me, it's a lot faster than doing it by hand or running actions on, you know, every image by itself and then the next one by itself. If it could not freeze, that would be good. I think it ran on the others. It's because I have stops in here for people who buy them, so it explains what it's doing. But for me, it's just making everything slower. I don't need an explanation. I know what they do. They take the stops out of mine. Weird, right? It works when I go here. So weird. Super strange. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's zoom in. Make sure you're on your layer mask. Use 20% brush on a white. I'm going to run Bright Eyes over it. Over your eyes. I run it over everything. Pupils, the whites. It's nice brightness. And let's just add a little tiny bit of oomph. Could probably even lower that a little bit. He has some really nice catch lights in his eyes to begin with. I'm gonna flatten. Go to my next. Here. Here. Lower it. Flatten. Next one. Here. seems like I'm just like talking to myself, but lower it and then flatten onto the next one. And this image is a little bit too dark, and I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. So let's go over his eyes first. I'll leave that way. Excuse me. So Control J, let's go to screen, hold Alt, and hit your layer mask. Or you can hit your layer mask and then invert it, it's really up to you. But holding Alt and then hitting your layer mask just automatically makes it invert. It's much easier. I'm on 20%. I'm going to brush onto him, his hands, chalkboard. I'm going to move down, brush onto his pants. So, and then I can double click the layer mask and put it on feather, and it'll just kind of feather it out so it's not so like straight on him. I think I'm going to take this off of the chalkboard because it's darker. Back to here, back to white, 10%. I'll do this side of his face more. There you go. Just make sure you don't have a halo and that it looks natural. And for me, that works. And then flatten. I'm trying to think of what else I could do. Oh, I can take this little mosquito guy out. He's just nothing but a nuisance. Just like that. What I would do is I would duplicate my layer, grab my brush, sample this color, and then brush it onto the chalkboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different font. So it's quite a interesting tutorial going on today. And 50%. That actually works because it's supposed to be this color, not that bluish color. So what I'm going to do is paint it on my background, duplicate layer. I should have did this to begin with like I did with the other one. I really shouldn't be at a 50% opacity since I'm just going to clean all this up anyway. Okay. Sloppy, I know. But then we zoom in, make a layer mask just like that. With black. What is it? White reveals, black conceals. Excuse me. So white is on for revealing, you know what I did here. So the black, if I paint it on, is going to conceal it. And I like to brush on things and paint on everything in Photoshop at 0 hardness. Just what I prefer. And another trick you can do is you can, oops, excuse me. You can like click your brush, hold shift, and then click it again, and it'll like just make like a line, I guess. I'll show you in a minute a little bit better of an example. Okay, so for example, I want it off of this. My brush is kind of the same, you know, width. Click once, let go, hold down shift and click again. Did that work? Yeah, there you go. My Photoshop's just being slow. So it makes like a whole line. Makes a line out of it so that it's easier. Oops, I don't want that. I don't mind the weedage and the grass, I guess it is. I guess it's a mixture of grass and weeds. But, what I had done originally is because, you could see the chalk when you saw it. It was kind of, it was like wiped off and stuff because he was just playing. So I decided to cover the chalkboard and put in my own font. I just figured it would be easier. And so I did, and I liked it better. But sometimes it's a little bit hard to make things look 100% realistic. But hey, that's alright. We do our best. It's a little bit easier because I'm using like a Wacom pen. Using like a mouse or a trackpad is not going to be as easily to paint it off, but you can totally do it if you do something like this. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to have carpal tunnel in like 6 months from now. Or worse arthritis than I already have. Zoom in, go back to black, cover that, oops, come on, there we go. Okay, and then zoom out. I mean, it's a little bit more obvious, so that's before, and it's after, and some people may not notice. My mother-in-law had thought that we actually wrote it on there because she made this chalkboard. She thought that we actually wrote it in the previous one that I posted. It was a preview, but it was actually a chalkboard font. For whatever reason, this is not painting on all the way. It's really weird. Back to this. Back to the white and black. Click, shift, click. Okay, so now what I might do, sorry, that took a little bit longer than I wanted. I might come and open this over here, like 30%, brush it onto this area. Okay. I'm going to take a history snapshot, just in case I want to come back if it doesn't work out for me. Then I'm going to flatten, go to Control J, get my clone stamp out. Around 100%. It might not work. I just clone that Okay, what happened? It's being very slow. Okay, clone. So I much prefer a, what do you call it? A mouse sometimes than my Wacom pen. With a mouse you can just like double click several times at the same place. Click, click. Okay, I'm just gonna duplicate. Maybe not. Just one more time. Yeah. Get a mouse for things like this. This doesn't work for me. Something like that. I'm gonna take an eraser and erase the outer edges. Duplicate little things. Ooh, no. Soft eraser. I'm just gonna leave it blank actually, sorry for all that baloney. I'm gonna flatten. I'm gonna take my font tool. It's called something else, but I'm not sure what. It's my font tool, so I'm gonna put its IT''S a girl exclamation point. I'm gonna put it to like 72, see if that's big enough. No. Let's try like 150. Ooh. I hit 150. Okay. I swear my thing's like crazy. Go here, just like starts working when I get back. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control A. I'm going to copy the whole thing. I'm going to find my chalkboard font. Come on. Oh my goodness.
Mama.
Trying to find the one I need. kiddo something to drink. Okay, now if I can remember what the chalkboard font is called, I can show you how to do this. It seems that I don't like my... I'm not sure. I think I'm just gonna skip over this because it's being too slow. Okay, so I'm not gonna do the font because it's taking too long for whatever reason. But basically batch editing, that's pretty much it. It's before, that's after on the first one. I'm not done with the images, like I'll go in and I'll take away the polls and stuff like that, but for the purpose of the video, before and after. Before and after. Before and after. So I hope you learned something. Batch editing can be really easy and really fast, especially when you're not running a crazy laggy screen recorder like I am. So I will see you guys next time, and have a good one.